Part 179. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1791. As Wu Yu spoke such rebellious words, all the emperors and immortals in the Lingxiao palace were shocked and could not believe it. The heavenly court has existed for many years, and there has never been anyone who acts wildly in the Lingxiao palace. Facing Wu Yu's strong momentum, all the emperors and immortals around him felt that he was too bold, right? He simply did not take the heavenly court and the Jade Emperor seriously. The Queen Mother's face was originally very cold, and now it became even worse. For her, it was the first time she saw such an unruly person who dared to act wildly in the Lingxiao palace. Even the Jade Emperor was slightly angry. In this case, I will personally capture you and send you to the eternal calamity. I will make you reflect on yourself. The Jade Emperor finally couldn't sit still. He snorted slightly in anger. Without any movement, infinite imperial power condensed in his palm, and then formed an imperial power vortex. This vortex of the immortal power of the imperial realm immediately enveloped Wu Yu, and even without touching him, it could draw him and the surrounding space into it, and be captured by the Jade Emperor. If it was Wu Yu alone, he would definitely not be able to escape his capture. But at this moment, alas! A sigh sounded from Wu Yu's heaven-swallowing imperial realm. Then a burst of golden light shone from Wu Yu's eyes, which was a power belonging to the Supreme Buddha Xuanzang. At this moment, the golden light bloomed and condensed into Xuanzang's holy Buddha body in the void. His holy Buddha body with golden light appeared in the void, and his white jade-like palm hit out, bursting out a burst of golden holy Buddha power light, which was heavily imprinted on the vortex of the immortal power of the imperial realm of the Jade Emperor. The terrifying power that shocked the entire heaven broke out at this moment. This confrontation can even be said to be the most top-level power confrontation between the two immortal realms. At this moment, the entire Lingxiao palace was filled with golden and white holy Buddha and Emperor realm immortal power. The space of the first level of Lingxiao heaven was shaken by the collision between the two sides. In the void of the entire Lingxiao heaven, cracks were shaken everywhere, emitting a terrifying destructive aura. In the Lingxiao palace, the surrounding emperors were all repelled by this force, staring at the scene in shock. In this heaven, there is actually someone who can tie with the Jade Emperor? All the emperors felt that the Jade Emperor's Emperor Realm immortal power vortex was actually blasted away at this moment. Even though the opponent's golden holy Buddha power was also shaken away, there is no doubt that the opponent actually blocked the Jade Emperor's capture this time. This is just a tentative move by both sides. If a real collision occurs, perhaps the entire Lingxiao heaven will be annihilated in the fierce battle between the two and turned into ruins, just like the heavenly palaces such as Shenqi Heaven, Wanlian Heaven, and Yuanpeng Heaven. Who are you? The Jade Emperor was also extremely shocked. He stood up and looked up at the golden Buddha floating in the air. It was a gentle young monk with a helpless look on his face, as if he didn't want to take action. I didn't want to take action, but unfortunately, you guys are bullying me too much. Xuanzang's Buddha sighed, Wu Yu, I'll take him away first. One day, I will definitely come back, and then I will definitely turn the whole heaven upside down. After the voice fell, he waved his hand, and after the golden light flashed, he took Wu Yu away from the Lingxiao palace. After he left, the power of the golden Buddha in the field did not dissipate for a long time, as if it had existed between heaven and earth since ancient times. This power shocked many emperors and immortals in the field. They felt that even if it was just the remaining power of the other party, once they touched it, it would be instantly destroyed and completely unable to resist. Only the Jade Emperor can completely defeat the light of the golden Buddha power and make it dissipate. Where did this person come from? Why have I never seen such a person in my Tiangong immortal realm? The Jade Emperor stared at the void with a very solemn expression. For him, the entire heavenly palace was originally in his control. But now, there has appeared an opponent who can match him, and even took away Wu Yu, who violated the heavenly rules, in front of him in the Lingxiao Palace. This made him shocked and angry. It's a pity that he couldn't find out Xuanzang's identity anyway. After all, he has lost all his memories of that time. In the entire Lingxiao Palace, all the emperors and immortals looked very bad. They didn't expect that Wu Yu violated the heavenly rules so much, but they couldn't catch him, and even let him run away from under their noses. So there is someone behind the scenes. I was wondering why he is so arrogant and doesn't take our heavenly court seriously. Erlang Shenyang Jian's face was gloomy. He just tried to open his eyes to search for Wu Yu's whereabouts, but as soon as he opened his eyes, a dazzling golden light shot towards his eyes, causing him to be seriously injured and vomit blood in an instant. So he didn't dare to make any move, fearing that he would be killed by the mysterious and terrifying existence. After confirming that the mysterious and terrifying existence had left, many emperors and immortals began to whisper and were filled with indignation. In their eyes, Wu Yu was simply a traitor. They all thought that it was the heaven that cultivated Wu Yu, and that Wu Yu's current realm was all granted by the heaven. They didn't expect that this kid would make a big fuss in the heaven, and didn't even give the Jade Emperor face in the Lingxiao Palace. And before the Golden Light Saint Buddha left, he said that he would come back one day and turn the entire heaven upside down. This made the emperors and immortals in the field a little worried. Even the Jade Emperor and the Queen Mother were a little worried. After all, they were facing a completely unknown existence now. As for the Fire Dance Phoenix Emperor Nangang Wei, her pretty face turned pale. Originally, she thought that Wu Yu would definitely not escape this time, but she didn't expect that he actually had a helper, and that helper was at the same level as the Jade Emperor, and was the supreme powerhouse of a fairy land. Could it be that she would never be able to surpass Wu Yu in this life? She clenched her little fists, and her nails pinched into the tender flesh, unwilling to accept that this would become a fact. Just when everyone in the heaven was in a low mood, Wu Yu naturally ignored them. Wu Yu had suffered enough insults in the Lingxiao Palace. This time, he completely exploded and broke off with the heavenly court. He returned to the demon god realm and arrived at the Eternal Emperor's burial. He had already rescued his sister Wu Yu. Next, he could practice well. When he became stronger, he would be qualified to avenge the Monkey King and others. There is one more chapter to be updated tomorrow morning. After the rhythm was disrupted, it was getting later and later equals. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Feng Qing Yang. Chapter 1792. When Wu Yu came to the demon god realm, the Holy Buddha's true body of the Supreme Buddha Xuanzang was also in his imperial realm and followed him. However, Xuanzang suggested that he should return to the Supreme Buddha realm to practice. On the one hand, the spiritual energy in the Supreme Buddha realm is much richer, and on the other hand, the demon god realm might be discovered by the Jade Emperor at any time and invaded. By that time, it would not be so easy for Wu Yu to escape to the heavenly Buddha immortal realm again. It is even possible that the Jade Emperor would discover the existence of the heavenly Buddha immortal realm as soon as the bridge to the immortal realm was opened. At that time, the situation in the heavenly Buddha immortal realm would be even more critical. Now the holy Buddha realm has been destroyed, causing all the holy Buddhas to become violent and cruel, and the environment is bad. Even Xuanzang cannot change the situation. So Wu Yu naturally listened to Xuanzang's advice and decided to take others to the Supreme Buddha realm to practice. Of course, he still had some reservations about Xuanzang and did not have 100% absolute trust, but now it seems that there is nothing wrong with this Supreme Buddha. Wu Yu did not just look at the surface, but analyzed some things from a deeper level, and knew that Xuanzang had no need to deceive himself. His explanation of the situation in the two fairy realms was very reasonable, without the slightest flaw. Ever since he experienced the events of the ancient Emperor Yanhuang in the world of Yama, Wu Yu would be cautious about everything. Before, when he became a disciple of Bodhi Patriarch, he was also a little cautious. But later, when he was captured by the heavenly soldiers and generals sent by the Jade Emperor, Bodhi Patriarch was willing to pretend to be defeated by him and let him go. He could be completely sure that Bodhi Patriarch could be trusted. But now, he still has some doubts about Xuanzang and does not fully trust him. Of course, for the time being, it seems that this Supreme Buddha has no problem, and the suggestions he put forward are not bad. Wu Yu then took Luo Bin and others and asked them to go to the Supreme Buddha realm of Tianfo Fairyland to practice together. In the demon god realm and the eternal emperor's burial, the immortal spirit is too exhausted, and the efficiency of practicing here is too low. As for Wu Yu's desire to devour the corpses of the demon emperors in the demon god realm to grow, he does not need to stay here all the time. He only needs to come back once when needed, so as to minimize the risk of being visited by the Jade Emperor. Luo Bin, Nanshan Wanjiao, and Yazixi, respectively, have the inheritance of the 8 heavenly dragons, Marshal Tianpeng and General Wan Lian. Together with Wu Yu, the 3 of them are all considered to be the disciples of Xuanzang. After going to the Supreme Buddha realm, Wu Yu and the other 4 called Xuanzang Master. In addition to the 4 of them, there are Zhuying, Minglong, Wu Yu, Su Yanli, Princess Yawei and others, who were all brought here by Wu Yu. After all, if they stay in the Tiangong immortal realm, they are very likely to encounter danger because of their relationship with Wu Yu. Of course, Su Yanli, Princess Yawei, Wu Yu and others can usually stay in Wu Yu's Tiantian Emperor realm to practice. You must know that in his Tiantian Emperor realm, the heaven has been constructed, with the spirit of immortals, and the spirit of immortals is very strong. After all, Wu Yu's heaven-devouring emperor realm was filled with countless peaches, and until now, there is still some peach power left in his heaven-devouring emperor realm. This is enough for Wu Yu and the others to practice for a long time. When they arrived at the heavenly Buddha immortal realm, they began to relax. Wu Yu and the others practiced on their own, and sometimes they learned from each other, and they could also have some new insights in practice and speed up their practice. Especially in the practice of the Emperor Immortal level, more communication is very beneficial. Anyway, Wu Yu has devoured many Emperor demons and Holy Buddhas, and there are many different types of practice methods, which are very useful for reference. Finally, after 30,000 years, Wu Yu successfully improved his Golden Buddha realm practice and reached the same 6th level as the heaven-devouring Emperor realm. As an Emperor Immortal, he is the 6th level of the Eternal Emperor Immortal. If he is a Holy Buddha, he is the 6th level of the Supreme Holy Buddha realm. These 2 powers work together to improve Wu Yu's combat power to a higher level. If he had spent a lot of time beating Lejun and breaking into the heavenly prison before, which caused the Jade Emperor to notice it, then if he created the heavenly prison again now, the time would probably be shortened by more than half. This is a great improvement. Especially when Wu Yu cultivated the Buddhist world to the 6th level, there was also the river of time in the Buddhist world, and there was also the heavenly realm. Adding the 2 together, more and more mortals became immortals, almost twice the speed of the Emperor Immortal or Saint Buddha of the same realm. This made Wu Yu's combat power increase very quickly. The combination of the Buddhist world and the Emperor realm allowed Wu Yu to complete the inheritance of the Monkey King, but he was definitely much weaker than the Monkey King back then. At least, the seal of his Ruyi Jinggubang has not been completely unlocked yet. If the seal of the Ruyi Jinggubang can be completely unlocked, his combat power will definitely increase a lot. During his 30,000 years of cultivation, Xuanzang also helped Luo Bin, Nanshan Wanjiao, and Yazixi create the Buddha realm respectively, and then instructed them to cultivate. On the path of Holy Buddha cultivation, although Wu Yu and the 3 of them have inherited, they still have many doubts during the cultivation process. If there are some questions, Xuanzang will come to answer them one by one, and he has definitely fulfilled his duty as a master. During the 30,000 years of getting along, although Xuanzang did not come many times, every time he came to give them guidance, they could suddenly open their eyes, and the road of cultivation would suddenly become clear and overcome the bottleneck. In this short period of time, Wu Yu and his friends also trusted Xianzang more and more. It can be said that this period of time in the Supreme Buddha realm was the most stable period of their cultivation so far. In the entire Tianfo immortal realm, because the heart of the Holy Buddha was broken, other Holy Buddhas were cruel and violent. But in the Supreme Buddha realm under Xuanzang's control, the Holy Buddhas did not dare to act rashly. After all the Holy Buddhas had a very deep understanding of Xuanzang's strength. Once they made trouble in the Supreme Buddha realm, they would be driven out of the Supreme Buddha realm. By that time, without a relatively stable cultivation environment, those black Holy Buddhas might die outside. For so long, Wu Yu felt that the Supreme Buddha Xianzang seemed to be a savior, who was maintaining the final order of the entire Tianfo immortal realm with his own strength. It is for this reason that Xianzang held the 10,000 Buddhas worship ceremony to obtain enough Holy Buddha relics to build a more stable Supreme Buddha realm. Otherwise, the entire Supreme Buddha realm would have collapsed completely, and the Heavenly Buddha immortal realm would have fallen into the most terrifying dark chaos. After both the Emperor realm and the Buddha realm reached the 6th level, Wu Yu was finally ready to sprint to the 7th level. His first choice was naturally the heaven-devouring Emperor realm, and he wanted to create a sea of heavenly Dao in the heaven-devouring Emperor realm. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1793. The so-called way of heaven refers to the rules of heaven. Another way of saying it is the rules of heaven and the rules of heaven, which are the laws between heaven and earth. In Wu Yu's own heaven-swallowing emperor realm, he himself is heaven and represents the will of the entire imperial realm. In his current heaven-devouring emperor realm, many mortals have become immortals, but it is not that easy to continue to practice upward from ordinary gods. This requires him to build the sea of heavenly Dao in the emperor's realm of swallowing heaven and create the laws of the entire emperor's realm, so that the immortals in his emperor's realm can finally continue to progress. This is a quite difficult process. Fortunately, Wu Yu has devoured many corpses of emperor demons of this level, so he still has some experience in building the sea of heaven. It takes a lot of time to understand from the small path to the way of heaven, and finally build the sea of heaven, so that various rules of heaven can appear in Wu Yu's world of the heaven-swallowing emperor, which can be understood by the immortals individually and thus be improved. If the sea of heaven is completely constructed successfully, there will be various elements and forces of heaven in the sea of heaven. For example, wind, fire, water and earth, rain, snow, thunder and lightning, light and darkness, killing and fighting, etc. Each element can be subdivided into countless ways, which can guide the immortals in the emperor's realm to practice to a higher level. Everything can be a Tao. If you want to build the sea of heavenly Dao, you need to understand all the Taos of time. In the entire Tiangong immortal realm, there is actually a sea of heavenly Dao, but Wu Yu didn't know it before. When he became an immortal, the Tao he obtained during the Nanxian Dao realm period was the sea of heavenly Dao from the Tiangong immortal realm. Now, Wu Yu needs to build the sea of heavenly Dao in his own heaven-swallowing emperor realm to take him to the next level. At this moment, he needs to know and understand all the Tao in the world, and integrate it into his own sea of heaven. Even if he comprehends less than 1/10,000th of the Tao, the sea of heavenly Tao in his realm of devouring heaven cannot be completely constructed. For ordinary Emperor Immortals, it is extremely difficult to cross from the 6th level of Emperor Immortal to the 7th level of Emperor Immortal. It may take hundreds of thousands of years to understand only part of the way of heaven. How can it be so easy to fully understand all the ways of heaven? But for Wu Yu, this breakthrough could completely solve the problem through swallowing, and he didn't even need to swallow it again. Among the corpses of the emperor demons that had been devoured before, there were some ancient top emperor demons of the 7th level of emperor demons. Within the corpses of these emperor demons, there existed the power of all the laws of heaven. Wu Yu had devoured so much, and had already digested the mysterious power contained in it, integrating it into his own understanding. So he just spent 30,000 years classifying the various heavenly ways one by one, and then integrated them into the Tiantian Emperor realm. When all the heavenly ways were fused by him, the sea of heavenly ways that could not be seen with the naked eye was born in the Tiantian Emperor's realm. When the sea of heavenly Dao was born, Wu Yu's heaven-swallowing emperor realm was finally filled with all kinds of heavenly Dao rules and integrated into the space of his entire imperial realm. Under the baptism and enlightenment of these rules of heaven, the immortals who were trained from mortals in Wu Yu's realm of Tuntian Emperor finally felt a more powerful power, and were able to absorb and comprehend the rules of heaven in Wu Yu's realm of Tuntian Emperor. Continue to improve your cultivation level. Wu Yu successfully constructed the Sea of Heaven through devouring, which allowed him to successfully enter the 7th level of the Immortal Emperor Immortal. Moreover, the immortals in the Emperor's realm of swallowing heaven can continue to cultivate and become stronger, which will make him stronger and stronger. After all, the stronger the immortals in the Emperor's realm are, the Emperor Immortal himself will be able to obtain part of his power. This increased his combat power again. The 6th level of the Holy Buddha realm and the 7th level of the Immortal Emperor Immortal. The combination of these two completely different powers can allow Wu Yu to explode with an absolutely terrifying power. After Wu Yu's breakthrough, the Supreme Buddha Xuanzang sensed this. Not long after, Xuanzang appeared in front of Wu Yu. He congratulated him first, and then said, "Wu Yu, you have just made a breakthrough and need more practice to control your new power. Why not compete with the ancient Buddha to get familiar with it, the power of the 7th level of the Emperor Immortal? Which senior is the Burning Den ancient Buddha?" Wu Yu was quite interested in this and immediately nodded and asked. Soon, a black holy Buddha appeared from the Supreme Buddha realm with a light in his hand and came to Wu Yu. This ancient lamp-burning Buddha looks relatively indifferent. He is holding the lamp in his hand, which is said to be an era artifact. In the lamp is burning continuously. As long as the light does not go out, the lamp-burning ancient Buddha will never die. Wu Yu took a closer look and found that the light in the hand of the ancient Buddha was actually connected to his Buddhist world. Randang ancient Buddha has the cultivation level of the 8th level of the Supreme Saint Buddha. With my current strength, I should be able to compete with him. Wu Yu thought to himself, a little eager to give it a try. With the creation of the Sea of Heavenly Dao in the imperial realm within his body, he could feel that his imperial realm's immortal power had greatly increased. Not to mention anything else, the extra-legal clone alone could condense more than 1,000 celestial powers at one time. 10,000. The power of various other methods will definitely increase a lot. Looking at the ancient Buddha with a cold expression, the holy Buddha's true body is squatting on the huge black Buddha world, holding a lamp in his hand, connected with the black Buddha world. That light is like the most eternal flame between heaven and earth, giving people a feeling that it will never go out. Under Xuanzang's observation, Wu Yu planned to have a try with the ancient Buddha Randeng. Wu Yu had experienced the fighting methods of the holy Buddha before, but this ancient Buddha Randeng was an extremely ancient holy Buddha. In Xuanzang's opinion, he was the top ancient Buddha in the Tianfo immortal realm. If Wu Yu could defeat the ancient Buddha Randeng, it would mean that he had entered a relatively top level. Of course, the meaning of top is just a rough idea. Compared with the peak strongmen such as Xuanzang and the Jade Emperor, the gap is definitely huge. However, with only the fighting power of the top emperor, Wu Yu can walk sideways in the Tiangong immortal realm. As long as he doesn't encounter the level of the Jade Emperor, there will be basically no problem. Ancient Buddha Randeng, let's see what you can do. Wu Yu thought to himself, and held the Ruyi golden cudgel in his hand. He did not hesitate, and took the lead in attacking, and a golden Buddha light burst out with a move of sky-shattering and earth-shattering, sweeping towards the huge black Buddha realm of the ancient Buddha Randeng. Seeing this, the ancient Buddha Randeng looked even more indifferent, and the light in his hand instantly burned into the surrounding space. In the Supreme Buddha realm, the entire space began to burn, and the astonishing flames from the ancient times actually blocked the golden light of Wu Yu's Ruyi Jingbang. Heaven-swallowing record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1794. The power of the ancient Buddha Ran Den was strong, which was a challenge to Wu Yu. Wu Yu used the Ruyi golden cudgel to continuously display various magical powers, such as the collapse of heaven and earth, the pillar of heaven, the fire eyes, the somersault cloud. The attacks were endless. But the ancient Buddha Ran Den was still able to resist indifferently. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. The lamp in his hand seemed to be eternal. Facing any attack from Wu Yu, he could burn the space with the eternal flame, and then the infinite flame blocked Wu Yu's attack, making his every move in vain. It seemed that because Xuanzang ordered the ancient Buddha Ran Den to just compete with Wu Yu, the ancient Buddha Ran Den never took the initiative to attack, and was always on passive defense. Wu Yu gradually had a clearer understanding of his current strength. Now he is indeed much stronger than before. After he cultivated the Buddha realm to the 6th level and promoted the Emperor Immortal to the 7th level, if he encounters an opponent of the level of Tai's Hangla Jun again, he can completely solve the opponent with one blow. However, Wu Yu is still a little bit incapable of dealing with the ancient Buddha of Burning Lamp. He always felt that the power of the ancient Buddha of Burning Lamp was a bit strange. If he could not break the eternal lamp defense of the ancient Buddha of Burning Lamp, Wu Yu would never be able to defeat the ancient Buddha of Burning Lamp. Of course, this is also because Wu Yu did not use all his means. He did not use any enhancement methods such as the law of heaven and earth and the violence technique. After all, it was just a competition now, not really to decide the winner. When the ancient Buddha of Burning Lamp started to compete, his methods were relatively gentle. Although his expression was indifferent, it could be seen that he could still maintain his rationality. But as the fight went on, Wu Yu seemed to find something wrong. Because the ancient Buddha of Burning Lamp's attack became more and more violent and irritable, and gradually even became a little crazy. The lamp in his hand began to burn towards the entire Supreme Buddha realm. The terrifying flames from the endless ancient times spread around at this moment. At this time, the ancient Buddha of Burning Lamp not only wanted to compete with Wu Yu, but also wanted to attack other holy Buddhas in the Supreme Buddha realm. It can be seen that this ancient Buddha of Burning Lamp, like other holy Buddhas, fell into a state of madness after entering the battle, which made Wu Yu's heart tremble. What's going on? Wu Yu was a little confused. After all, he could see that the ancient Buddha of Burning Lamp was in a very good state at the beginning. Although his expression was indifferent, he did not show any signs of madness. Unexpectedly, this holy Buddha went crazy while fighting. Stop! When the ancient Buddha of Burning Lamp burned the lamp in his hand like crazy, Xuanzang's voice was transmitted to the field at the right time. This whisper, like the Sanskrit sound from the sky, accompanied by a burst of brilliant golden Buddha light, a palm print descended from the void and directly suppressed the ancient Buddha of Burning Lamp. It was Xuanzang who made the move. The golden Buddha light formed a palm print and fell from the sky. The ancient Buddha of Burning Lamp was suppressed in an instant, with a ferocious and violent expression. The huge black Buddha world was even struggling violently, trying to break free from the shackles of the golden palm print. Unfortunately, Xuanzang was the Supreme Buddha. Once he made a move to suppress, no one in the entire Tianfo immortal realm could escape from his palm. It was impossible for the ancient Buddha of Burning Lamp to mess around. As Xuanzang made a move to suppress, the expression of the ancient Buddha of Burning Lamp did not become calm, but became more ferocious. The huge black Buddha world even opened its mouth and bit at the palm print formed by the golden Buddha light. Alas! Seeing this, Xuanzang could only sigh. He had thought of this situation, but he didn't expect the ancient Buddha of Burning Lamp to lose his mind so quickly. He raised the golden Buddha light palm print and suppressed it again. This time, the void was shaken, accompanied by a circle of golden light, and a wave of space fluctuations swept around, even spreading throughout the entire Supreme Buddha realm. In this way, the ancient Buddha of Burning Lamp finally fainted. The next moment, the ancient Buddha of Burning Lamp finally stopped going crazy, and the entire Supreme Buddha realm finally calmed down. Master, this. Wu Yu looked a little puzzled. He thought, could it be that his fighting style stimulated the ancient Buddha of Burning Lamp? However, Xuanzang shook his head and said gently but with some worry, it doesn't matter, it has nothing to do with you, but I didn't expect that he couldn't control himself so quickly. After the Holy Buddha realm of the Heavenly Buddha Immortal realm was broken, all the Holy Buddhas fell into such a state. Once they were greatly stimulated, they would lose their reason. It was because of this that the entire Heavenly Buddha Immortal realm was so chaotic. Wu Yu thought of the fact that he had left the Supreme Buddha realm with Luo Ben some time ago. After all, it was not good to practice all the time. Sometimes you have to go out and relax, which may bring more insights to your practice. At that time, they left the Supreme Buddha realm and were attacked by many black holy Buddhas. Those holy Buddhas seemed to have completely lost their minds. If all the holy Buddhas were like this, the entire Tianfo Immortal realm would become extremely chaotic, so chaotic that even Xuanzang, the Supreme Buddha, could not control the entire situation. He could only build a Supreme Buddha realm to become a safe place for some of the holy Buddhas to settle down, and save as many as possible. As soon as Xuanzang raised his hand, the golden Buddha light took away the ancient Buddha of Burning Lamp and let him rest aside. When the ancient Buddha of Burning Lamp woke up, his sanity should have been restored. Wu Yu raised his head and saw a look of compassion on Xuanzang's elegant young face under the golden light of the Supreme Buddha realm. Obviously, Xuanzang was also very worried about the current situation of the Tianfo Immortal domain and wanted to change the situation. Master, is there any way to repair the damaged Holy Buddha realm heart? Wu Yu couldn't help but asked. He felt very uncomfortable when he saw the violent behavior of those holy Buddhas. Before the Jade Emperor led the Emperors and Immortals to invade the heavenly realm of Buddhas, these holy Buddhas should have had the same compassionate hearts as Xuanzang and Xuanhuan Bodhisattva. However, now they will go crazy when stimulated and treat all the holy Buddhas. Words are an unbearable torture. Maybe when they go crazy, they won't feel anything. But as a bystander, Wu Yu is now a little worried. There is a way, but unfortunately, this way is too difficult. Xuanzang thought for a while, nodded, shook his head again, and finally sighed. What can I do? Can I help? Wu Yu couldn't help but ask. If he can help, Wu Yu will never be stingy. Anyway, it is too early to seek revenge from the Jade Emperor based on his strength. During this period, he could find something to do, and perhaps consolidate his cultivation, allowing him to advance faster in his subsequent cultivation. After hearing Wu Yu's words, Xuanzang frowned slightly. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Feng Qing Yang. Chapter 1795. Why don't I want to restore the heart of the world? Unfortunately, this method is too difficult. Xuanzang frowned, sighed, and shook his head. Master, you can talk about it, Wu Yu suggested. He would like to know if there is any way to restore the Holy Buddha realm heart. If he can help, that would be great. Xuanzang shook his head and said, with a hint of vicissitudes in his eyes, in the South China Sea realm of heaven, there is a person named Xuanhuan. She was originally the Holy Buddha of the Heavenly Buddha Immortal domain, but she came to heaven before the war. The whole thing, she was not involved in the matter. Xuanhuan's Holy Buddha realm can reshape the Holy Buddha realm and return the Heavenly Buddha realm to normal. However, in this case, she will lose her life and integrate herself into the Holy Buddha realm. In my heart. Wu Yu was also a little surprised when he said this. He never imagined that to restore the mind of the Holy Buddha realm, Xuanhuan Bodhisattva would need to sacrifice his life. This situation surprised Wu Yu. As a result, it would be impossible for him to help. After all, even if he saw Xuanhuan Bodhisattva again, it would be inconvenient to persuade her. Putting himself in his shoes, if Wu Yu was asked to sacrifice his life to restore the holy Buddha realm heart, he would probably not be willing to do so. Then Xuanhuan Bodhisattva should be similar. At this time, Xuanzang glanced at Wu Yu and saw the golden hoop on his head. He couldn't help but smile gently. Is this what Xuanhuan Bodhisattva put on you? Not bad. Wu Yu nodded and told the truth. He already trusted Xuanzang, and there was nothing to hide about this kind of thing. When Xuanzang heard this, he sighed, with a kind of compassion in his tone. Actually, if I have the chance, I would also like to go to the Nanhai realm and ask Xuanhuan personally to see if she is willing to do anything to restore the heart of the holy Buddha realm. Self-sacrifice. Originally, I couldn't go even if I wanted to, but Wu Yu, now that you are here, you can take master there if you want. The meaning of his words was relatively clear, and he didn't hide it. Perhaps for Xuanzang, seeing the chaos in the heavenly Buddha immortal realm day after day, year after year, countless saintly Buddhas who were originally compassionate were beheaded and lost their lives in the chaos and stimulation, which made him I was in so much pain inside that I really wanted to end it all. Therefore, he wanted to personally ask Xuanhuan Bodhisattva if he was willing to make self-sacrifice. But in Wu Yu's opinion, this kind of thing is really not good. He has met Xuanhuan Bodhisattva and knows that the senior is indeed a very gentle holy Buddha. It can be seen from her white Buddha realm that she has a very kind personality and is an extremely kind senior. Master, please forgive me for not obeying your orders. Wu Yu shook his head and explained, Xuanhuan Bodhisattva has been in the South Sea realm and has not been involved in worldly affairs for who knows how many thousands of years. He must not want to be involved in the affairs of the two immortal realms. If I take the master to find her, I am afraid it will not be appropriate. It doesn't matter. Xuanzang shook his head and smiled, Wu Yu, you don't need to be nervous. Master just said that. But there is one thing you can do for Master. What is it? Wu Yu asked. In addition to Xuanhuan Bodhisattva, there is also a person from the heavenly Buddha immortal realm in the heavenly palace immortal realm. Maybe he is not as good as Xuanhuan Bodhisattva, but he can also change part of the current situation of the heavenly Buddha immortal realm. Of course, this move also requires his life, but this person is a traitor from the heavenly Buddha immortal realm. He has surrendered to the Jade Emperor long ago. Now he is sitting in the 10,000 layers of hell, and he is a powerful man hidden in the hell. His name for, Ksitagarbha Bodhisattva. After Xuanzang said this, Wu Yu frowned. It's still the same thing, but the other person is no longer the kind Xuanhuan Bodhisattva, but another Ksitagarbha Bodhisattva. This Ksitagarbha Bodhisattva sounds completely different from that of Xuanhuan Bodhisattva. Although they were both from the immortal realm of heavenly Buddha, Xuanhuan Bodhisattva had hidden himself before the war. He did not care about worldly affairs and kept himself quiet. Perhaps he was waiting for some opportunity. In short, he did not associate with the Jade Emperor and bring harm to the common people. But Ksitagarbha Bodhisattva has surrendered to the Jade Emperor and became the one who controls hell. Now that Ksitagarbha Bodhisattva has surrendered to the Jade Emperor, judging from his character, I'm afraid he won't agree to help the heavenly Buddha immortal realm and rebuild the holy Buddha realm heart, Wu Yu said hesitantly. It doesn't matter, I can capture him and forge the Buddha realm of his holy Buddha into the heart of the realm. At that time, the holy Buddhas in the Tianfo immortal domain will be able to regain some of their sanity. Once successful, the environment of the Tianfo immortal domain will be restored. So much better. When Xuanzang said this, he asked, Wu Yu, what do you think? Are you willing to take the master to hell and capture the Ksitagarbha Bodhisattva? Wu Yu thought about it. To be honest, if it were any other normal emperor immortal or holy Buddha, he felt that it would be unfair to ask the other person to sacrifice their lives in exchange for the stability of the heavenly Buddha immortal realm. After all, Everyone's life has its own value, and there is no reason to force others to pay the price with their lives. But now, that Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva turned out to be a traitor from the heavenly Buddha immortal realm who had defected to the Jade Emperor. The so-called traitor means that it is very possible that Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva is also responsible for the destruction of the holy Buddha realm of heavenly Buddha immortal realm. This made Wu Yu no longer have any good impressions of Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva. Thinking about the destruction of the demon god realm and the death of the four seniors of the Monkey King, no matter which aspect you consider, the culprit who caused so many murders back then was, Wu Yu will kill them one by one sooner or later to avenge the blood feud. Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva, since he defected to the Jade Emperor and is still sitting in the 10,000 hells, then he also has a share in the hatred between the demon god realm and the predecessors of the Monkey King. It is only natural to exchange his life for the stability of Tianfo Xianyu. When Wu Yu thought of this, he made a decision. He could see that Xuanzang respected his choice and decision very much. For example, Xuanhuan Bodhisattva just now, he felt that it was not good to disturb her in the South Sea realm, so he refused, and Xuanzang did not say anything. In this case, Wu Yu believed that if he refused to take Xuanzang to hell to find Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva, Xuanzang would not have any objection. Everything depends on Wu Yu's own choice. To be fair, Wu Yu wanted revenge. The scene of the destruction of the demon god realm in the past still often echoed in his mind, and he did not see it with his own eyes, but only saw a fragment from the Eternal Emperor burial, and he had such a deep impression. It is conceivable that the scene of the destruction of the real demon god realm is so tragic and cruel. Okay, Master, in this case, let's go to the 10,000 hells of Tiangong Xianyu together. In the end, Wu Yu made a careful decision. He also hopes that the holy Buddha realm of the heavenly Buddha realm can recover quickly, so that all the holy Buddhas can return to their normal state. I wrote it late, and there are still chapters to be updated tomorrow morning. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1796. After Wu Yu made the decision, Xuanzang did not waste time and got ready directly. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow dot circled M. Bridge of the Immortal Realm. The Ruyi golden cudgel in Wu Yu's hand appeared from the void, and he waved it to create a golden vortex. This golden vortex is the bridge of the Immortal Realm, together with the two different Immortal Realm worlds of the Heavenly Palace Immortal Realm and the Heavenly Buddha Immortal Realm. This time, Xuanzang and Wu Yu acted together. After passing the bridge of the Immortal Realm, they came to the Heavenly Palace. 60,000 years ago, Wu Yu was taken from the Heavenly Palace by Xuanzang and protected in the Heavenly Buddha Immortal Realm to practice. During these 60,000 years, Wu Yu basically did not appear in the Heavenly Palace Immortal Realm, except for occasionally returning to the Eternal Emperor's burial to devour some Emperor demon corpses. And this period of time was almost just a blink of an eye for the Emperor Immortal. Wu Yu only raised the realm of the Holy Buddha to the 6th level, and the Emperor Immortal rushed to the 7th level, and these 60,000 years have passed. Of course, compared with other Holy Buddhas and Emperor Immortals, his speed is really incredible. After returning to the Heavenly Palace, Wu Yu did not wander around the Heavenly Palace. After all, the last time Xuanzang took him out of the Lingxiao Palace by force, it definitely shocked and angered the Jade Emperor and other Emperor Immortals. Now if Wu Yu wanders around the Heavenly Palace, once he is discovered, even if he can get away, it will be difficult to go to hell to find trouble with Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva again. So Wu Yu and Xuanzang went directly to the 10,000 hells. Now with their strength, it is easy to enter hell, and Xuanzang can do it. He just can't travel freely between the two immortal realms. After arriving at the 10,000 hells, the two went directly to the deepest part of the 10,000 hells. The deepest and most mysterious layer of the 10,000 hells is called the rebirth hell. In other places of the 10,000 layers of hell, ghosts, gods, and demons can be seen everywhere. Many places are even Shura purgatory, with countless blood, flesh, and screams coming out of them. This is the norm in hell. When Wu Yu competed for the Immortal King Seal in Taizhou Immortal Road, he finally won the 10th grade Immortal King Seal in hell, so he was not too unfamiliar with hell. After arriving at the rebirth hell, the surroundings became extremely quiet. This layer of hell was extremely quiet, as if there was no living being in the entire layer of hell, and a kind of black smoke was everywhere. Xianzang took Wu Yu and walked towards the deepest part of this layer of rebirth hell. Finally, in the abyss filled with smoke in front of him, Wu Yu saw a huge black Buddha body. The black Buddha world was hidden in an abyss, surrounded by endless black smoke. If you don't look carefully, it's even difficult to find it. It is completely integrated with the surrounding environment. The huge black Buddha world, like a small world, lies in the abyss in front of Wu Yu. Xianzang walked to the edge of the cliff, sighed towards the abyss, and called out, "Ksiddhagarbha, it's time to go home." His words were heard in this level of hell. The huge black Buddha world in the abyss naturally heard his words and finally began to move. A black holy Buddha body, the same size as Wu Yu and Xianzang, flew up from the black abyss. He looked at Xianzang and Wu Yu with his eyes wide open, very alert. "Who are you? How can you come to this hell?" It seems that he doesn't remember who Xianzang is at all. But Wu Yu thought it was quite normal. After all, the emperors and immortals in the entire Tiangong immortal realm didn't remember the past. Since Ksiddhagarbha Bodhisattva had surrendered to the Jade Emperor, he was probably affected by the Forget Heart mantra. But soon, the Ksiddhagarbha Bodhisattva took a look at Wu Yu and felt that he looked familiar, and was shocked. You are Wu Yu." He didn't recognize Xianzang, but recognized Wu Yu. Obviously, the Ksiddhagarbha Bodhisattva had heard about some things that happened recently in the heavenly palace. Wu Yu was not surprised. You know, he had caused too many things in the heavenly palace, and each one was a big deal. First, he killed an emperor immortal before the emperor immortal trial and suffered punishment in the heavenly demon battlefield. Later, he was taken to the Lingxiao palace by Tai Genren because of the Ruyi Jinggubang, but he became the disciple of the Jade Emperor by mistake. Maybe before Wu Yu became the disciple of the Jade Emperor, there were still many emperor immortals in the heavenly palace who had not heard of him. But when he became the disciple of the Jade Emperor, this matter spread directly throughout the heavenly palace, and no one did not know about his existence. The great sage equaling heaven, Wu Yu. At that time, he was a hot figure, praised and admired by everyone. He was a super genius who was 1 in a million in the entire heaven. But the good times did not last long. In the eyes of everyone in the heaven, Wu Yu was so bold that he stole all the peaches while guarding the peach garden. Later, he became even bolder and even made a big fuss in the heaven, fought against 100,000 heavenly soldiers and generals, beat Lejun with a stick, and broke into the heavenly prison. These things made everyone in heaven and hell familiar with the name Wu Yu. Since Ksiddhagarbha Bodhisattva recognized Wu Yu, there was speculation about Xuanzang's identity. "Are you the terrifying strong man who appeared in the Lingxiao palace as the Jade Emperor said?" The black holy Buddha body of Ksiddhagarbha Bodhisattva looked indifferent and glanced at Xianzang. "Are you from outside the fairyland? What are your intentions for our Tiangong fairyland?" Alas! Seeing him like this, Xianzang couldn't help but sigh again. "Wu Yu, it seems that he has forgotten the past. Even so, it is an indisputable fact that he defected to the Jade Emperor and joined forces with the heaven and hell. Wu Yu, why don't you try to fight first, so that you can get familiar with your current strength?" "Okay." Wu Yu nodded. He now has no good feelings for the Jade Emperor and the entire heaven. Anyway, along the way, he always felt that the entire heaven was a little strange. Many emperors and immortals seemed gentle on the surface, but were extremely cruel behind the scenes, just like the Tai's Hanglajun. Wu Yu never thought that the Tai's Hanglajun, who looked so gentle, actually wanted to refine him into an immortal pill. When he was in the Lingxiao Palace, he saw the faces of those emperors and immortals more clearly. In this case, he has nothing to worry about against this Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva. Since you participated in the destruction of the demon world, and even joined the Jade Emperor to invade the Tianfo fairyland. In this case, it is not too much to sacrifice you to rebuild the heart of the holy Buddha world. Wu Yu's eyes flashed with a gleam of light, and he had already grasped the Ruyi Jinggubang in his hand. He felt that this Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva was very strong, even stronger than the opponents he had met before, and he might not be his opponent. In the two fairylands, this Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva is even second only to Xianzang, the Jade Emperor and other top emperors and holy Buddhas. But no matter what, Wu Yu wanted to try and see how strong he is now. Heaven-swallowing record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1797. From Xuanzang's words, we know that Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva is the top emperor immortal among the two immortal realms. Wu Yu did not seek to defeat Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva. As long as he could draw with him, he would be satisfied. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. At this moment, he was holding the Ruyi golden cudgel, with golden light all over his body, and he was directly displaying the magic of heaven and earth. His body that exuded golden light directly changed to the maximum. Because the opponent he faced was strong, he used stronger methods as soon as he came up. A mere junior dares to challenge me, Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva saw this, and a cold look appeared in the eyes of the black holy Buddha. Seeing Wu Yu's body of golden light transformed into the size of the largest small world, Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva snorted coldly, and the huge Buddhist world behind him in the black mist suddenly began to shake. The huge Buddha realm flew up heavily from the extremely dense black mist, as if it shook the entire hell of rebirth. The next moment, the huge black Buddha realm opened its eyes. In those eyes, there was an aura of hell and death, and there was a murderous intention coming out of them, which made Wu Yu feel a chill sweeping through the entire hell of rebirth, and even made his body start to shiver involuntarily. This kind of shiver is not because of fear, but because the surrounding temperature has dropped to the extreme. Golden light erupted all over his body, and he was shrouded in the cold air, completely unable to stop the invasion of the other party's cold air. In particular, the other party's cold air also contained an aura of death, which made him feel like he was being corroded. Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva's Buddhist aura exploded, and Wu Yu felt endless pressure even before he actually took action. This made him grit his teeth, knowing that if he didn't use all his abilities, he might not even be able to take one of Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva's moves. "Break it for me, Optimus Prime!" Wu Yu shouted angrily, holding the Ruyi golden cudgel in his hand, and burst out with a burst of vast golden light. Before that, he also used violent techniques, which brought the power of his stick to its peak. Unless Wu Yu burns the imperial immortal power in his imperial realm again, the sweeping stroke of the stick will be his strongest power. Even the emperor immortal of Tai's Hanglajun's level will definitely not be able to bear this blow. Live. It's a pity that Wu Yu is facing Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva, a powerful person who ranks at the top of both immortal realms. Wu Yu had just swept out with a golden cudgel, and a sneer appeared in the eyes of Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva's holy Buddha. At the same time, a burst of extremely cold air erupted from the huge black Buddhist world. Ksatagarbha's extremely frozen reincarnation seal. With the roar of Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva, a huge Buddha seal instantly condensed in the huge black Buddha world, and was born instantly in the void. When his holy Buddha power appeared, Wu Yu instantly felt a terrifying power coming from above his head. The Ruyi golden cudgel swept out in his hand was completely suppressed by this burst of power. It was a pitch-black palm print, with pitch-black light flowing throughout its body. It could break through the space in an instant and suppress it towards Wu Yu. As the Ksatagarbha's extremely frozen reincarnation seal landed on the Ruyi golden cudgel, a dull sound came out. Wu Yu felt as if the Ruyi golden cudgel in his hand suddenly fell into the deepest hell. Waves of extremely terrifying cold air came from the Ruyi golden cudgel, even suppressing the golden light on the golden cudgel. His most powerful attack with the magical power of Optimus Pillar, which was also blessed with violent techniques, was crushed by Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva's move. Wu Yu felt as if the Ruyi golden cudgel was about to come out of his hand, and the extreme cold enveloped the entire place, as if it was about to freeze him into the path of reincarnation. So strong. Wu Yu never thought that he would be crushed by Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva. He originally thought that he had made breakthroughs one after another and his strength would become stronger. Unexpectedly, in front of Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva, he could not even catch the opponent's moves. It can be imagined from this that if Wu Yu faced the Jade Emperor or the Supreme Buddha Xuanzang, he would have no chance of winning. But at the same time that the Ksatagarbha's extreme freeze reincarnation seal was suppressed, and when Wu Yu felt the terrifying power contained in it, Xuanzang finally took action. He and Wu Yu came here to capture Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva, and of course he would not watch Wu Yu being suppressed in front of him. A golden light bloomed from in front of Wu Yu. The extremely bright light suddenly made everything in front of him disappear. Only a golden light covered the whole place. Golden light emitted from Xuanzang's hand and enveloped the entire audience. The next moment, he completely dispelled the Ksatagarbha's extremely freezing reincarnation seal that had crushed Wu Yu. At the same time, the golden light erupted in the Hell of Life, and even swept through the Hell of Life. The thick black fog in the Hell of Life was shaken away, and golden light shone everywhere. Under this burst of golden light, Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva suddenly closed his eyes, and a tingling feeling came from all over his body. However, he did not give in. After all, Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva was second only to the Jade Emperor and Xuanzang in the world. Even if he confronts Xuanzang, he will not be crushed by Xuanzang, not to mention that Xuanzang is still in the heavenly Buddha immortal realm in the 9 golden Buddha realms and cannot be brought here. The next moment, there was billowing black mist above the black Buddhist world of Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva. These dark mists spread like a nightmare and began to confront Xuanzang's golden light. Wu Yu closed his eyes tightly. He found that he could not open his eyes at all and see everything around him. Whether it was Xuanzang's golden light or Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva's nightmare black fog, they all brought him a devastating pressure. If these two forces were aimed at him, he would have died hundreds of times by now, and there would be no chance of survival at all. Until this time, Wu Yu had the most real experience of Xuanzang's strength, but he also knew that this was not all of Xuanzang's strength. They are so strong, it seems that if you want to kill the Jade Emperor and avenge the demon world and the predecessors of the Monkey King, you still need a long time of practice. Wu Yu gritted his teeth and opened his eyes reluctantly. He found that the entire hell seemed to be suffering from the destruction of the terrifying power. However, in the battle between Xuanzang and Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva, it seemed that Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva was at a disadvantage. The golden Buddha light in the whole scene was extremely bright, and gradually suppressed Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva. Holy Buddha Dharma, the Supreme Golden Sutra Dharma Seal. Xuanzang chanted the Sanskrit sounds, which seemed to come from the infinitely distant sky, and condensed into a supreme golden Dharma seal in the void. This golden Dharma seal exuded infinite repressive power, suppressing Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva. Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva showed horror in his eyes, whether it was the true body of the Holy Buddha or the huge Buddha world. He felt the momentum of the Supreme Golden Sutra Dharma seal falling from the sky, and his whole body trembled. Obviously, he felt a great threat between life and death from this move of the Holy Buddha Dharma. Next chapter, tomorrow morning. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1798. The Supreme Golden Sutra Seal, as if shining with the golden sky, descended from the sky. Even Wu Yu felt the extreme power contained in this seal, which was more amazing than the attack of Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva he had just endured. Holy Buddha's magical power, Ksatagarbha's hegemony. Although Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva was trembling all over, he still mobilized the huge black Buddha world and released a kind of gloomy energy all over his body. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow diamond suit. The next moment, the huge black Buddha world blocked the Supreme Golden Sutra seal, and the whole thing was like a black copper wall, and a cold and domineering aura burst out. Holy Buddha Dharma, Supreme Golden Sutra seal. Holy Buddha's magical power, Ksatagarbha's hegemony. These two methods are the most top-notch methods in these two fairyland, and they are definitely the top magical powers and Buddha Dharma in Tianfo fairyland. At this moment, in the deepest part of the 10,000 layers of hell, a shocking spatial fluctuation broke out, sweeping and spreading to the surroundings. That Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva was indeed very strong. In Wu Yu's eyes, after Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva's huge Buddhist world opened the Ksatagarbha tyrant body, the whole thing was like being poured with steel and became extremely tough. Unfortunately, Xuanzang's strength was still stronger than him. The Supreme Golden Sutra seal destroyed the power of Ksatagarbha tyrant body in the next moment, and completely suppressed Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva's huge Buddhist world. It was as if the entire sky was shattered, and the golden light burst out at this moment, and the entire rebirth hell was dazzling. Vajra. Then, a supreme epic artifact appeared from Xuanzang's sleeves. It turned out to be a golden demon-slaying short staff, called Vajra. As soon as the Vajra appeared, it released thousands of feet of rays of light, covering the already injured Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva, and trapped his holy Buddha body and the black Buddhist world in it. As Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva was trapped in the Vajra, the entire hell of rebirth finally returned to peace. As the golden light dissipated, the Vajra returned to Xuanzang's sleeve, as if nothing had happened. However, Wu Yu looked around and saw that in this level of hell of rebirth, the shadows of the black fog seemed to have faded a lot, because Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva had disappeared. In the abyss under his feet, the originally thick and eerie black fog also began to dissipate, becoming less gloomy than before. Wu Yu, let's go back. Xuanzang put away the Vajra and sighed. Yeah, Wu Yu nodded. He knew that the battle here was too fierce, and even the entire hell of rebirth was shaking. I'm afraid it will soon reach the ears of the Jade Emperor and others in the heavenly court. It is necessary to leave quickly before they arrive. Then, Wu Yu urged the magical power of the Ruyi Jingbang and once again performed the bridge of the fairyland, condensing a golden vortex leading to the Tianfo fairyland. When he and Xuanzang disappeared together, the golden vortex also disappeared. Not long after they left, the 10 Yama kings of the 10,000 hells rushed over, and they found that they were too late. Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva had been taken away, and the entire hell of rebirth had become a deserted place. There were still traces of fierce fighting everywhere, but they were nowhere to be seen. The 10 Yama kings looked at each other, and saw the solemnity in each other's eyes, and then they could only communicate with the Jade Emperor as quickly as possible. In the heavenly palace hell, the outsider appeared twice in succession to make trouble, which was not a good thing for the heavenly palace fairyland. The Jade Emperor couldn't figure out who the other party was. He had lost all his previous memories and couldn't remember anything about Xuanzang at all. When Wu Yu and Xuanzang returned to the heavenly Buddha fairyland, they breathed a sigh of relief. This trip to hell allowed Wu Yu to see the holy Buddha's means at the level of Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva, which was much stronger than the power he had now. If he wants to defeat an opponent of this level, he still needs to practice hard for a long time. Fortunately, Xuanzang followed him and finally subdued Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva and put him into the epic artifact Vajra. Master, should we use Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva's life to repair the holy Buddha realm heart now? Wu Yu asked after returning. After all, the purpose of capturing Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva in the beginning was to repair the realm heart and restore the holy Buddhas in Tianfo Xianyu to normal. For Wu Yu, Ksitagarbha Bodhisattva was an accomplice in destroying the demon god realm and invading Tianfo Xianyu. Even if he used his life to repair the realm heart, it would not be enough to pay for everything he had done. But unexpectedly, Xianzang shook his head slowly. He said gently, I alone cannot repair the holy Buddha realm. But I had two friends who were imprisoned by the Jade Emperor in a place called Sumuru World during the war. This Sumuru World is located between the two major fairy lands of Tianfo and Tiangong. It does not belong to either side. The large and small spaces in it are disordered and very dangerous. The two friends are called Samantabhadra Bodhisattva and Manjusri Bodhisattva. They were once called the four great bodhisattvas together with Xuanhuan and Ksitagarbha. Unfortunately, hearing this, Wu Yu already understood. It turned out that the four great bodhisattvas were the four most powerful beings in Tianfo in the past, second only to Xianzang, and Xuanhuan Bodhisattva had the highest status among them. Now Xianzang alone cannot complete the task of repairing the holy Buddha realm, so he has to go to the Sumi world to rescue his two friends, Manjusri Bodhisattva and Samantabhadra Bodhisattva. How can I get to Sumuru world? Wu Yu asked directly. I still have to rely on your Ruyi golden cudgel. Xianzang explained, recently I have been thinking about how to unlock more seals of this Ruyi golden cudgel. Until today, I finally have some clues. Wu Yu, if you are willing to hand over the Ruyi golden cudgel to Master, you can open the sixth seal, called the Sumi passage, and you can use this to go to the Sumuru world. Wu Yu thought for a moment. The Ruyi golden cudgel in his hand was extremely important to him, but Xianzang was also someone he trusted, not to mention opening the seal of the Ruyi golden cudgel would also be beneficial to Wu Yu. He didn't think too much about it. Anyway, in his opinion, if Xianzang really wanted to do harm to him and possess the Ruyi golden cudgel, he could just do it by force. There was no need to ask for his opinion. Good. Wu Yu agreed and handed Xianzang the Ruyi golden cudgel. Xianzang was not too excited. After all, for him, he just wanted to borrow the Ruyi golden cudgel. However, he thought that he might be able to rescue his two friends, and a smile appeared on his gentle face. Wu Yu, the magical power of the Sumuru channel of the Ruyi golden cudgel can not only open the passage to the Sumuru world, but also activate the huge power of the Sumuru world to attack the enemy. Please wait for a while, and I will be the master first. Its seal is broken. Xianzang stared at the Ruyi golden cudgel with a deep gaze, as if he had seen through all the seals inside the Ruyi golden cudgel. After all, this is the epical artifact of his former disciple, Monkey King. Xianzang was certainly much more familiar with the Ruyi golden cudgel than Wu Yu, so it was no surprise that he could open the seal. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1799. Wu Yu trusted Xianzang enough to give him the Ruyi golden cudgel. Next, Wu Yu continued to practice, but he did not expect that only a few years later, Xianzang would find him again and return the Ruyi golden cudgel to his hands. The sixth seal of the Ruyi golden cudgel has been unlocked by Master. Xianzang smiled slightly and seemed to be in a good mood. After all, he would soon be able to go to the Sumuru world and rescue his two friends. Then let's get started. Wu Yu knew that Xianzang had been waiting for this day for a long time, and he had also studied the Ruyi golden cudgel for such a long time to help him unlock the sixth seal, so there was no need to wait any longer. Xianzang nodded and asked Wu Yu to take action in the Supreme Buddha realm and activate the sixth level of magical power of the Ruyi golden cudgel. Holding the Ruyi golden cudgel again, Wu Yu could feel that the power in this era artifact had become stronger than before. There was an extremely mysterious power flowing in it, which should be the power used to activate the sixth level of magical power. That kind of power can open the door to the Sumeru world and connect the Sumeru world to the two immortal realms. Wu Yu first got familiar with the current Ruyi golden cudgel and felt that after its sixth seal was unlocked, not only would it have more magical powers that could open the passage to the Sumeru world, but it would also make it more powerful. There is a kind of power that belongs to its essence, which is gradually being released, but Wu Yu still doesn't know what kind of power it is. He didn't think too much. After getting a little familiar with the Ruyi golden cudgel, he activated the imperial immortal power in his body and brazenly activated the sixth magical power of the Ruyi golden cudgel, the Sumi channel. When he exerted the new mysterious power in the Ruyi golden cudgel, an extremely mysterious white vortex appeared in front of him. This is the sixth magical power of the Ruyi golden cudgel, the first use of the Sumeru channel, which can open the door to the Sumeru world. Wu Yu thought to himself that the mysterious white vortex that appeared in front of him was the gate to the Sumeru world. Another way to use it is to use the Ruyi golden cudgel to activate the power in the Sumeru world and use it to attack the opponent, which is enough to produce a force more powerful than Optimus Prime. This also makes Wu Yu's actual combat power become more powerful than Optimus Prime. It was stronger before. Of course, he could feel that even so, there was still a huge gap between him and the Emperor Immortal at the level of Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva. With the power of Sumeru world alone, it is still impossible to defeat an existence at the level of Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva, but the distance between him and him is getting closer, which makes Wu Yu feel like he has become stronger. It was this feeling that gave him the confidence to avenge the demon god realm and his predecessors, the Monkey King. When the gate to the Sumeru world appeared, Wu Yu and Xuanzang were both excited. Wu Yu was a little curious. He looked through the door of the Sumeru world and found that inside the door, there was an extremely weird world. Wu Yu, this Sumeru world is a chaotic world. It is extremely difficult to survive safely in it. Even if you step into it rashly, your life may be in danger. Xuanzang groaned and said, "Just wait outside for my master to come out. Don't rush in." When Wu Yu heard this, he nodded seriously. He looked towards the world of Sumeru and saw that it was just as Xuanzang said, it was a place of extremely large and small chaos. In that Sumeru world, things that should be extremely small in the outside world, such as flies, mosquitoes, ants, etc., turned out to be extremely huge. There was even a mosquito so big that it could not be seen at a glance, and its body was as vast as a small world. There are also existences that should have been extremely huge, such as giant whales and rock demons, but have turned into tiny dots in the Sumeru world, existing like black dots like tadpoles. All these scenes were full of fantasy, which made Wu Yu feel surprised, and he also felt an atmosphere of absolute danger. With his current strength, he really can't step into the Sumeru world, otherwise he will probably be torn to pieces by the mysterious power. Therefore, Wu Yu could only agree to Xuanzang and wait outside for him to come out. Soon, Xuanzang dodged through the white whirlpool. At this time, Wu Yu looked at the Sumeru world from outside and found that Xuanzang's figure suddenly became huge, and then became extremely small. It was obvious that he had been affected by the chaotic power of large and small. Not long after, Xuanzang's figure disappeared from Wu Yu's sight. It was obvious that the Sumeru world was also a very big world, and what Wu Yu could see through the door of the Sumeru world was only a drop in the ocean. When Xuanzang disappeared, the white vortex disappeared not long after. It was obvious that this gate to the Sumeru world could only exist for a short period of time. Wu Yu was waiting in the Supreme Buddha realm. For Emperor Immortal, a year is as short as a day. About 30 years later, Wu Yu suddenly heard a voice, which came from Xuanzang, asking him to open the door to the world of Sumeru again. Hearing this voice, Wu Yu did not hesitate, and directly activated the magical power of the Ruyi golden cudgel, once again condensing a white vortex, leading to the mysterious world of Sumeru. After the Sumeru passage appeared, Xuanzang returned from the Sumeru world. However, when he returned, Xuanzang was still alone. He did not see his two friends, Manjushri and Samantabhadra, and Xuanzang's face was not very good. He appeared in front of Wu Yu and sighed, how sad, I didn't expect that I was still late. I was late? Could it be that the two friends of the master, Wu Yu's face also changed slightly? Alas! Xuanzang looked compassionate, the two of them suffered heavy losses back then, and now they have been oppressed by the Sumi world for so many years, and they have indeed passed away long ago. In the Sumi world, the master searched for a long time, but only found their Buddhist world, and brought their Buddhist world back. This situation surprised Wu Yu a little. He frowned and said, in this case, wouldn't it be very difficult to recast the Holy Buddha realm heart? Xuanzang shook his head, sighed and said, since they have already passed away, I can only use their Buddha realm, together with Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva, the Buddha realm of the three Bodhisattvas together, should be able to recast the realm heart. This is also the wish of Manjusri and Samantabhadra, two close friends, before they died. I didn't expect that they would have such a great, selfless heart. Listening to what Xuanzang said, even Wu Yu was in awe of the two Bodhisattvas. Such a broad mind is indeed not something that ordinary people can have. As for Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva, he was originally a traitor to the Tianfo immortal realm. Using his Buddha realm to recast the realm heart is also a worthy death. There is one more chapter. I will continue writing tomorrow morning. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1800. Xuanzang sealed Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva with the Vajra, and brought back the Buddha realms of Manjusri Bodhisattva and Samantabhadra Bodhisattva from the Sumi world, and he already possessed the three Buddha realms. Next, it was time to recast the realm heart. However, Xuanzang still said, even with the Buddha realms of the three Bodhisattvas, it is difficult for the master to recast the holy Buddha realm heart. I still have to go to the South Sea realm and find Xuanhuan Bodhisattva. Wu Yu was a little surprised, recasting the realm heart, can't it be done by the master alone? Xuanzang nodded, yes. But now there is no need for Xuanhuan Bodhisattva to sacrifice her life. As long as she is willing to return to the Tianfo immortal realm to help, recasting the holy Buddha realm heart will be just around the corner. If Wu Yu wanted Xuanhuan Bodhisattva to sacrifice her own life before, he felt it was inappropriate. At this point, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. But if we just ask Xuanhuan Bodhisattva for help, Wu Yu thinks it's acceptable. Okay, then let's go to the South Sea realm to find Xuanhuan Bodhisattva. Wu Yu nodded. He knew that Xuanhuan Bodhisattva had an attitude of hiding and not caring about worldly affairs. But now everything is ready, just let Xuanhuan Bodhisattva come back to the Tianfo immortal realm to rebuild the holy Buddha realm together, she shouldn't refuse, right? In any case, Wu Yu looked at so many holy Buddhas in the Tianfo immortal realm and felt a little bit reluctant to see that all of them were in chaos and were constantly killing each other. These were not the fault of these holy Buddhas themselves, but the fault of the Jade Emperor. After so many thousands of years, Wu Yu finally returned to the Tiangong immortal realm again, ready to go to the South Sea realm of the Tiangong immortal realm to find Xuanhuan Bodhisattva. At the bottom of the well of eternal life, Wu Yu had been to the South Sea once, so he was familiar with the route. He quickly brought Xuanzang's holy Buddha body to the heaven-swallowing emperor realm and came to the place where Xuanhuan Bodhisattva was. Along the way, Wu Yu always paid attention to hiding, so as not to be discovered by the gods of the Jade Emperor. If they were besieged together, the situation would still be difficult to deal with. Fortunately, until he arrived at the South Sea, no other gods found his traces, so Wu Yu was relieved. Then, Xuanzang appeared from Wu Yu's imperial realm and took him to the place where Xuanhuan Bodhisattva was. Wu Yu had just stepped into the South Sea realm and had not seen the figure of Xuanhuan Bodhisattva, but he had heard a sigh from Xuanhuan Bodhisattva in the distance, which was full of helplessness. Xuanzang, I know that one day you will come. With these words, the holy white Buddha realm of Xuanhuan Bodhisattva came from far to near and came to Wu Yu and Xianzang. After arriving at the South Sea realm and seeing Xuanhuan Bodhisattva, Xianzang smiled, which seemed to contain some deep meaning. When Xuanhuan Bodhisattva arrived, Xianzang smiled and said, "Great Master, the Lord of the immortal realm will always change, why do you care so much?" He looked quite relaxed, and there was no pressure in front of Xuanhuan Bodhisattva, but Xuanhuan Bodhisattva's expression was a little solemn. Xuanhuan Bodhisattva listened to his words and shook her head solemnly, "The Lord of the immortal realm will only perish, but will never be replaced. Have you never understood it yet?" After listening to their conversation, Wu Yu felt a little confused. What will the Lord of the immortal realm change and perish? The Jade Emperor took the initiative to invade the Tianfo immortal realm. Now the Holy Buddha realm of the Tianfo immortal realm has been destroyed, but the Jade Emperor and other Emperor Immortals have lost all their memories. All this seems to have nothing to do with the replacement of the Lord of the immortal realm. Wu Yu couldn't help but be a little confused. The Jade Emperor is still the Jade Emperor, and he is an absolute emperor-like existence in the Tiangong immortal realm. There is absolutely no problem in saying that he is the master of the fairyland. And the Tianfo fairyland does not seem to have a new master. Xianzang was powerful in the past and is still powerful now. He is even the only person in the entire Tianfo fairyland who can stay awake at any time. Even if Xianzang is the master of the Tianfo fairyland, it seems that there is no big problem. So, what do Xianzang and Xuanhuan Bodhisattva mean by the change of the master of the fairyland? After arriving in the South Sea realm, just 2 short sentences made Wu Yu fall into entanglement. But then, he discovered a fact that he found hard to accept. Facing Xuanhuan Bodhisattva, Xianzang chuckled, "I have already controlled the Tianfo fairyland, haven't I?" This short sentence made Wu Yu seem to understand one thing: the Tianfo fairyland in the past did not seem to be dominated by Xianzang. This made Wu Yu's expression become solemn and his heartbeat accelerated a little. Xuanhuan Bodhisattva said calmly, "Do you think that the Tianfo Xianyu has been controlled by you?" Xianzang was not angry, and smiled gently, "Maybe not yet. However, there is only one world heart missing. With the Buddha world of you 4 great Bodhisattvas, I should be able to reshape the holy Buddha world heart, right?" Xuanhuan Bodhisattva's face changed slightly. "Manjusri and Samantabhadra, aren't they hiding in the Sumi world? How can you? Could it be?" At this moment, Xuanhuan Bodhisattva looked at Wu Yu with some surprise. This glance shocked Wu Yu's heart. He seemed to understand something vaguely. Now Xianzang came to Xuanhuan Bodhisattva, not to let Xuanhuan go back to the Tianfo Xianyu to help recast the world heart, but to kill her and collect her Buddha world. In this way, the Buddha world of the 4 great Bodhisattvas can be gathered to recast the holy Buddha world heart of the Tianfo Xianyu. And from the tone of Xuanhuan Bodhisattva, Manjusri Bodhisattva and Samantabhadra Bodhisattva were hiding in the Sumi world, and not as Xianzang said, they were sealed in the Sumi world by the Jade Emperor. In this case, Manjushri and Samantabhadra may not have sat down on their own, but Xianzang entered the world of Sumeru and killed them before gaining access to their Buddhist world. Now, as long as Xianzang kills Xuanhuan Bodhisattva and gets her Buddha realm, he can reshape the world heart in the Tianfo immortal realm and make him the true master of the immortal realm. This series of things was guessed by Wu Yu through the dialogue between Xianzang and Xuanhuan Bodhisattva. But looking at the expressions of Xianzang and Xuanhuan Bodhisattva, these should be very similar. They are the facts that happened and the real purpose Xianzang wanted to achieve. Wu Yu. At this moment, Xianzang turned sideways, sighed to Wu Yu and said, "The heart of the holy Buddha realm must be reshaped. Only in this way can the heavenly Buddha immortal realm have a way to survive in the future. Xuanhuan Bodhisattva must be dedicated. Why did you lie to me before?" Wu Yu's whole body felt a little cold now. He felt that he had become an accomplice in the deaths of Manjushri and Samantabhadra. If he had not used the Ruyi golden cudgel to create the Sumuru passage, Manjushri and Samantabhadra would not have been killed by Xianzang, right? Even if what Xianzang said was right, the heart of the holy Buddha world must be reshaped, and the four great bodhisattvas must be dedicated. Xuanzang's use of this method to achieve his goal was really difficult for Wu Yu to accept. Seeing Wu Yu's suspicion, Xianzang shook his head, his eyes revealing a feeling of compassion. Wu Yu, you may not understand now, but one day, you will understand the helplessness of our master.